Welcome to the Trust Factor Radio, bringing you interviews and insights to unlock the power of the subconscious mind to create authority, credibility, and trust. With your host, the Authority Architect, and best-selling author, Neil Howe.
Hello and welcome to the show. This is your host, Neil Howe, and today my special guest is Brian Wulfe. He is the CEO and founder of Effective Spend, which is a digital marketing agency that helps businesses promote their products and services online. And Effective Spend was recently named as one of Austin's 2018 Best Places to Work by Austin Business Journal. So let's find out everything that's going on at Effective Spend from Brian Wulfe. Brian, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Neil. Great to be here.
Well, tell us a little bit about Effective Spend and how you got started with this business, and ultimately, what kind of clients do you help there?
Sure. So Effective Spend was founded about 10 years ago. We've been growing pretty fast since then. We're about 30 individuals. We're located in Austin, Texas. And prior to that, I worked for a online retail company similar to Amazon, managing their marketing department, and really saw that a lot of the channels that we were managing in-house at the company that I was working with were managed quite a bit better than some of the other companies, some of our competition, or some of the other contacts that I had. So I saw a real gap to elevate some of the search marketing campaigns, some of the social campaigns, and some of the SEO efforts of a few contacts that I had. And so I left that company in 2008, started Effective Spend, and we've been growing since then.
Excellent. So what kind of clients do you help then at Effective Spend?
Sure. So we actually, our best clients are companies who rely pretty heavily on digital marketing to drive their business. And so it doesn't necessarily skew to one vertical or another, but companies that are sort of small, medium size that are spending anywhere from $25,000 a month on online ads to we have a few clients that are spending over $1 million a month. Some of the industries that they generally skew in are retail. Actually, when we founded the company, we primarily focused on retail clients. That was my background, so that was pretty easy to do. But now we've really expanded to lead generation companies, business-to-business software companies. We have a few different education clients, financial services, health and wellness. So clients that are generally relying pretty heavily on media to drive their business are a pretty decent fit for us.
So it's not necessarily your local mom and pop business. Is it more e-commerce that you do?
Correct. So we started, when we started, we took on a few different sort of spas or restaurants, but we found that pretty quickly the clients who could utilize our service the most were spending a bit more dollars. We bring a pretty comprehensive approach and solution to our clients, and we found that it was overkill if the client was maybe only had a smaller budget or was local. Our services are best fit for companies who are national or even international. We have quite a bit of clients that are outside the U.S. where we're based as well.
So let's talk about some of the issues that these companies that you work with are having. Obviously, they are able and willing to spend a lot of money on paid advertising. What is the benefit of that paid advertising over other forms of digital marketing?
Good question. So a lot of this is kind of two questions. A lot of times our clients come to us with challenges of getting more efficiency out of their online media budget. So they'll often have started their campaigns maybe internally. They're spending, say, $10,000 to $20,000. and they'll have, say, a customer acquisition of, $500, for example. The client says, we'd like to grow, but we really need that cost per acquisition below $250. So we need a more efficient account, and we need some help doing that. And so we'll conduct a pretty sophisticated audit of their account to determine if there's a fit, and then we will resource that account with strategic resources, campaign management resources, and analytics resources. So really a team of individuals that can service each area of the account in order to improve efficiency and really take them to that next level. So a lot of our perfect clients are clients who are coming from another agency. Maybe that's an agency that takes a little bit more generic approach to online marketing, or they're doing it themselves and they just don't have time to spend and to cut some of the costs, some of the wasted spend out of it. And so what we can do, the problems that we're solving are really, extending their media spend to drive more conversions. And oftentimes, most of our best clients, as long as we're able to improve efficiency, have unlimited budgets. They're not necessarily restricted by capacity. A lot of these companies are software companies, and they say, as long as you're hitting our cost per acquisition targets, we're okay scaling media spend as much as you can.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. If the numbers work out, you'll spend as much as you possibly can if you keep on getting the right return. Let's talk about the audit. What kind of things are you looking for when you do an audit for a company like that?
Yeah, good question. So we take a look at a few different aspects of the campaign. So some of the channels that we manage media on are social channels. So Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Snapchat are some of the big ones. Pinterest is increasing there. And on social channels, a big component of success is the ad creative. So, we manage image ads, we manage video ads. There's a bunch of different ad types on all of these different platforms. And so we'll conduct an audit and understand the relevancy of their ads to their target market and really give them consulting advice and help them improve the actual creative, the imagery of the ads. Another component of the audit is targeting. So a lot of clients will launch a campaign on Facebook and they'll do some pretty simple targeting, and they might be showing their ads to a demographic or market segment that is just not interested in their business or is not their ideal customer. We'll work with those clients to refine their audience. We'll sort of identify some gaps in their targeting, and we will suggest how we would audit or we would manage and optimize those audiences. And I would say the last component is really bid and budget management. And so budget allocation across all of their different channels is extremely important. You're going to have some segments of your online marketing campaigns that perform really well and are extremely efficient. And then you're going to have some segments that don't. It doesn't mean that you should never advertise in a segment that is slightly less efficient, but you should really be pushing your budget towards the campaign efforts and areas that are performing the best. And so we see a lot of gaps within clients across those three segments. Of course, they're different within, say, search marketing, as well as display, which is another component of what we manage. But that's just a sense of what we look at an audit and how we determine fit with a client.
That brings up a lot of questions. Let me see if I can go after them one by one. I really liked that thing that you said there about, even though it might cost a little bit more on one channel, you still want to get those clients in if it's making sense and you're still making a profit. Are there any specific channels that might cost a little bit more for that acquisition, but those customers prove to be better than some of the other channels?
Yeah, really good question. So we find that a lot of clients who come to us are generally optimizing towards a cost per acquisition. So they get maybe a form fill or a call, and they say, we're generally spending about $500, and all we want to do is lower the cost per conversion. That can be pretty misleading and a common misconception with clients, because what they're not taking into consideration is the quality of that lead. A lot of our clients have a nurturing cycle. So they'll fill out a form on their site, say they want a demo of their software service, or say they want to purchase a specific product, but they're not taking into consideration what the lifetime value of that client is. And different channels can be extremely beneficial in driving some of the most valuable clients you'll have. But the media spend is often a little bit higher. LinkedIn is a perfect example. They generally charge a little bit more for their media. Cost per click is upwards of, say, $10 for some of the more competitive segments, whereas Facebook is 50 cents. But if you're a business, you really want to be on LinkedIn, because although your leads will cost more, the demographic and the fit of that lead will be significantly better. So that's an example.
So how well does like these paid social ads work compared to maybe the long-term SEO that some companies like to do?
Yeah, good question. So we often work pretty well with an internal SEO department. So your digital ads should be working in conjunction with your SEO efforts. In general, they serve two different goals. I would say that most of, our experience is that most of the industry has been moving to a paid model. For example, there's very little reach on Facebook organically. Now most of the businesses are paying to show their messaging. On search, you'll see that 10 years ago you maybe saw 2 ads on the top, and now there are more than 10 ads on a search results page. And so a lot of the clicks, especially low funnel clicks, so people that are searching and are ready to purchase, whether that's a service or a product, are generally clicking through ads versus organic. And organic is often better utilized to build awareness, to fill the top of the funnel with blog content and really answering more informational queries, and to really capture that high intent, low funnel search after they've gained information and awareness. You really need to be advertising, or else you're going to build awareness. You're going to educate the client through your SEO strategy, and then your competitor is going to steal them away with a pay-per-click ad.
So what kind of content are you looking to generate when you're doing this paid advertising? Is it as important as developing content for an SEO campaign?
Definitely, and we often use some of the same content that is generated through SEO efforts through paid. And so we generally advocate for a strategy that is a full funnel strategy. So we nurture at the very top of the funnel, and for content like that, it might be awareness or white paper, a download for a business, or it just might be a kind of a general video as an introduction. And at the very low end of the funnel, it's often more direct response information about pricing or promotion or a coupon for some of our retail clients. And so we utilize content across the funnel. A lot of times we're driving marketing leads at the top of the funnel, and then we're remarketing those same customers with lower funnel content about coupons or a specific promotion. So we utilize various content.
So talk to me a little bit about the budget management and the allocation that you were speaking of. How do you spread that about and get the best ROI for the client?
Good question. So one of the things that's driven our business has been our business intelligence team. So in addition to campaign and account managers and strategists, we have a division within our agency that looks at analytics. We call them the advanced analytics team or the business intelligence team. They advocate, and at the very beginning of onboarding a client, make sure that all of the tracking and integration is extensive within our new clients. So they will set up tracking pixels and integrate into their CRMs to understand not only when somebody's converting from the website, but also the lifetime value of repeat purchases. We bring all of that data plus the data from each individual channel that we're managing, Facebook, Google, by tying into their APIs, and then create pretty comprehensive dashboards. These dashboards give us good visibility across each channel and the ROI of each channel. They give us attribution information. So, for example, oftentimes we'll have clients that have long consideration cycles. Somebody might click through a Facebook ad, then click through an AdWords search ad, and then come back through a retargeting ad on LinkedIn. We need to understand which channel was actually responsible and drove that conversion, and therefore where to allocate the budget. So through our analytics and attribution models, we will allocate credit across each channel and optimize the budget and allocate more budget towards those channels that are responsible for driving the real value.
How long does it take to set up a campaign like this and start seeing real results?
Good question. So oftentimes clients who partner with us already have extensive history within their accounts. So they might not be on all the channels that we manage, but they're generally on some of the more mature channels. So we'll look at a client's account that has maybe a year or two worth of AdWords data and has been spending a long time. And we can glean enough insight from that to rework that campaign and begin to show improvements, whether that is scaling conversions or improving efficiency within 2 weeks. I would say that most agencies that we come up against, and really where we kind of differentiate ourselves, is by applying a more comprehensive approach. So you'll see a lot of agencies that, or people in this industry that are able to see an initial improvement, both in scale and efficiency. Everybody can look at an AdWords account and say, I would cut spend here because it's not doing well. But oftentimes they'll plateau after they influence that campaign with some of the initial strategies. What we really try to do is hold our employees and account managers accountable for continuous improvement to really fight off that plateau. So although we are seeing pretty substantial improvements within that, say, first 2 to 3 week period after taking on a client, it's imperative that we see month over month and year over year gains for the life of our engagement. And so we retain our clients for a pretty long time and can improve their accounts immediately. But if we can't improve their accounts on the third year of partnering with them, then they're often not seeing as much value as we'd like.
How effective is paid advertising for a long-term strategy?
Good question. So I would say it's effective. So the organic, so again, they're all tying together. SEO and paid advertisement need to be looked at in the same bucket. Most of our clients have initiatives across both. Although SEO efforts are not going to show benefit as soon as paid efforts, that doesn't necessarily mean that paid efforts won't show benefit in the longer term. And so a lot of times we'll set up campaigns that will nurture clients, that will build the brand of the companies that we're working with, so that in the next year, 5 years down the road, we are really setting the stage for a more comprehensive company and partnership. As I mentioned at the beginning, the clients that we partner with rely heavily on our services. And as such, we position our agency as a real extension of their marketing department and a partner. Unlike some agencies, we don't take on a lot of clients. So I mentioned we have 30 individuals working with us. Almost all of them work on campaigns. And we really only have maybe 50 or 60 clients. And so we really are in it with our clients for the long term. We are building long-term strategies. So outside of saying if paid does or does not help in the long term, I would say that it should, and our efforts and the way that digital marketing should be managed should go towards the long term. It shouldn't be as short-term focused.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of work that certainly goes into it, looking at all the analytics and seeing where you can improve. People don't realize just how much effort and time goes into monitoring these kinds of campaigns, and that's why, you know, each one, like you said, gets individual attention from a campaign manager to make sure it's always running smoothly. Brian, can you tell me about some of the misinformation maybe or misconceptions about paid advertising?
Sure. So I had mentioned a little bit ago, so about one of the most common misconceptions is that each lead is equally valued. We sort of discussed that earlier on, but it really needs to be, you need to think about the lead quality and the lifetime value. A misconception is just that you need to drive as many low-cost leads as possible. You know, another misconception is that, and this has kind of been a long-standing misconception specifically about Google ads, but also about Facebook ads, is that people don't click on ads. And it is true that certain demographics are less likely to engage with advertisements, but I can say that the overwhelming majority of our clients' customers do click on ads. People engage with ads, they find value in them. So although in certain circumstances for certain queries, for example, on search, if it's informational, you might not click on an ad. But for retail specific, and if the ad really resonates with you, you are going to click onto it. And so that's kind of a misconception of some of our clients who are not as familiar with digital marketing, but we find that a lot.
And are there any fears or apprehensions that holds companies back from really, you know, letting things go with paid advertising?
Yeah, definitely. So a lot of times when we partner with clients, they will be in a place of stagnation. They will have been spending the same budget they've been spending for years, and they will be seeing very similar results. And one of the things that really keeps them from moving to the next level and potentially even partnering with us is a lack of transparency in tracking and reporting. So, you know, we find when we can alleviate that gap, when somebody really understands the influence that their advertising are having and really how to attribute and understand the different channels of their website, whether it's SEO, affiliate, email, or paid advertising, they really are much more likely to double or triple budget because they feel more confident that that additional budget will go towards sales. It still surprises me how many clients, even large companies that we partner with, don't have the type of transparency and clarity into conversion attribution that is really required to get to that next level. But once we can help them with that, we find that they are much more likely to increase the engagement quite a bit.
Well, let's talk about some of the businesses that you've had relationships with and you've worked with over the years. Are there any spring to mind that really, you know, came to you with a big problem and you were able to, you know, help them out? Really, what was the outcome for that business after you working with them?
Yeah, good question. So we partnered with a company about 4 years ago now, and this company was a payment app. I'm not at liberty to say their specific name, but they're one of the largest apps at the time we were working with them on the App Store. And really, one of their main issues was understanding lead quality. So one of the main objectives was driving leads. So form fills on their website. Somebody would fill out a form, and then they have a very robust sales force to call those potential customers and vet them out. And the marketing efforts were being optimized completely towards form fills. So they were driving a lot of form fills on Facebook, Bing, and search. but they didn't have a sense of what the quality of those form fills were. They weren't tracking, how many of those form fills turned into opportunities, turned into sales qualified leads, and then eventually customers, and they weren't passing that information back into the channel. So once we helped them with attribution and analytics, it was really transformational for them. We saw their business grow almost double within a period of a year and a half, when it had been closer to maybe 30 or 40% year-on-year growth. We've done several case studies with Facebook and some of the larger partners out there, specifically on this client, and really taken that model and applied it to some other clients in our industry to see some similar growth. And so that one sort of financial payment apps company stands out.
Definitely great results there to have that boost in growth that quickly to double their profits in a year and a half. That's awesome. There's a lot of digital marketing companies out there that offer paid advertising. If somebody listening to this is looking for somebody to take hold of that for them and monitor everything, like you've been saying, with all the analytics and that transparency as well, what kind of questions should they be asking that marketing company to make sure they're the right company to do business with?
Yeah, great question. So we find that there are two main factors that determine a fit for us. So when we look at clients, we also, name these two factors at the very beginning. So one of those factors is really getting a comprehensive idea of how life is going to be like working with your agency. And so everything from understanding what type of team members to the communication cadence, are you meeting on a weekly basis, to how you actually approach campaign management, what you scrutinize. And that's why the audit goes so far within this industry. The other factor is really how much time of these experts you're going to get. Too often we see agencies that don't have a good handle on their sales, or maybe sales is a little bit disconnected from their services team. And so we'll see these individuals, these campaign managers, become overloaded. And so they might only have, maybe a few hours each week to dedicate to this account. And the client really doesn't have an understanding. So establishing what life is going to be like working with that agency and how they approach campaign management and optimization is imperative, as well as how much time you're going to get from your agency. Sort of establishing that at the forefront is going to avoid any kind of unexpected challenges later on.
And from the other side, from the client perspective, how much time are they needing to put aside to put into working with you and understanding exactly what it is that you are delivering for them?
Yeah, that's a wonderful question, and a question we don't often get from our clients. But when they do ask that question, we immediately are ecstatic. We're very excited that they're thinking that way. And the reason is because some clients will be of the opinion that, there's more value if my agency can take things and run with it. But we actually prefer if a client's able to give us a little more time. And the reason is because, again, we're an extension of that company. And, we think that their digital advertising can drive their product strategy, their procurement strategy, and a bunch of different sort of real world business strategies internally. So, we want them to leverage us for that. And we are conversely able to do tremendously better work if we have a better sense of their product roadmap, of their business strategy, where the company's really going. So in order for that situation to work, we actually ask for quite a bit of time from our clients, both to review some of the results and talk through strategies. Again, our clients are spending substantial amounts of money. And so the last thing we want them to do is kind of place us on an island and automate things. And so although the specific amount of time varies from client to client, we generally will always skew towards requesting a bit more time for our client from our clients, so that we can do a better job for them.
Well, like you said, it is a partnership. You need to work hand in hand, so everybody is understanding what needs to be done. The communication is very, very important to make things run smoothly. So, Brian, if somebody listening to this wants to reach out to you, what is the best way for them to do that?
Yeah, definitely. So we, have a website, effectivespend.com. We almost all of our potential prospect inquiries come from referral and go straight to my sort of email, which is Brian, BRIAN, at effectivespend.com. We're starting to do a bit more with our own marketing efforts. So we've, started a YouTube video blog on Amazon. It's called Effective on Amazon, and are also pretty active in Facebook and Twitter. So definitely go to our website and feel free to email me directly if you have any interest or questions to talk to me about.
Excellent. Well, this has been really good. Some great information here, Brian. There's definitely a lot of companies that need paid advertising, and the more they can spend on advertising, the more business that comes in. It just really makes sense, especially if you have the money to spend and to scale. So there's definitely room for a lot of improvement, and that's where all the analytics that you do comes in. This has been really helpful. Brian Wulfe from Effective Spend, which is a digital marketing agency in Austin, Texas. Thank you very much for being my guest on the Trust Factor Radio today.
Yeah, thanks so much, Neil. Great talking with you.
And to our listening audience, if you like what you hear, hit that like button and share, and we'll see you next time on the show.
You've been listening to the Trust Factor Radio with Neil Howe. To learn about the resources mentioned in the show and to listen to past episodes, go to thetrustfactorradio.com. To get a copy of the book, The Trust Factor, go to thetrustfactorbook.com. If you are ready to act now and build your authority, credibility, and trust, schedule a consultation with Neil at theauthorityarchitect.com.